Welcome back to the LOERadio Show on 89.3 WNUR-FM in Chicago. I am Tim Radicek, and joining me in the studio again tonight is Jay Sal,
What up?
the Zohan,
Yo. Hey, yo.
and Radical Rick.
Your name's changing.
Sup?
Yeah. I got a new one every time we come back from a break for Rick.
No Slick Rick?
Slick Rick? Yeah, you
No
weren't
Rick
wearing the
roll.
eye patch. So.
Slick Rick the ruler?
Yeah. Who was Slick Rick's homeboy in crime?
Dougie Fresh?
Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh
Right.
crew. Yeah, welcome, Rick. Thanks for showing up. As you mentioned earlier in the show, you are a bit of a musician. Do you got any gigs coming up? Something you want to plug, man?
You know what? Not right now. I'm still trying to name the project, but almost done with a full-length record. Sometime this year, hopefully.
So you've got a whole band already?
A new band, a new one.
A new band.
So putting it together, we recorded at Groove Master Studios. That's in Pilsen. Johnny K did all the Disturbed records.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
Stained, Megadeth. So
Megadeth?
Megadeth,
Not
not Megabeth.
Not Megabeth. She's not with us this evening. In fact, she's not available to even call the show because of work-related activities tomorrow.
I heard that she was in the toilet.
She's in the toilet.
Did she eat the 2-foot burrito?
She did the 2-foot burrito challenge. She just didn't come back
and
from
failed
it yet.
miserably.
Didn't win.
Didn't win.
No.
Burrito won.
She had to throw in the towel or the toilet paper. Anyway, so what would you say your genre of music is for this new project, Rick?
You know what? I think it's modern hard rock, heavy
So
metal, hard rock.
You would be considered in that genre of rock or metal?
Yeah, thereabouts. Over by there.
Over by there. Are you from Wisconsin or something?
No. That's the Berwyn. That's the
Is
over
any
by
of
there.
that conservative?
Oh yeah, he's a conservative vice lord.
Don't out me.
Conservative vice lord.
Sorry.
of the guitar.
Oh, progressive vice lord. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Oh, I thought it was conservative. Am I wrong? Is that
What?
he called? The vice
Conservative.
lord guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was the
conservative vice lord.
conservative
Okay.
Clearly, I mean,
At what point are you conservative vice lord?
When are you a liberal vice lord? I don't
I don't-
even know. But I wanted to know, Rick, who are like your influences? Beth gets mighty upset when I play Metallica on the show for some reason.
you know what? Metallica is the reason why I think I started playing guitar
Really?
when I was younger. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear.
So
That's a heck of a inspiration to have, man. Those guys are awesome.
no, it's all like Hetfield's. You know, I play rhythm guitar. I'm not like a lead player per se, but yeah, Hetfield. I mean,
An influence? Okay, sure.
yeah, huge influence. That's why I started playing. I mean, more modern, I guess, like bands like Seven Dust, which is actually, you know, some of the guys I grew up listening to, and I got to go on tour with them a few times, and you know, it's like
Like touring as an opening act or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
no, it's just
That's
it's
very cool.
It's crazy looking up to guys when you're like in high school, like learning how to play and how to be in a band, and then getting to the point where
You're comfortable
you're
on the road.
You're
or-
on the tour. You're hanging out with them after the show, having drinks. Like it's, you know, it was surreal.
Yeah, you feel like part of the culture or like you actually belong. you
Yeah,
know?
no, it was great. The only thing is, every time I tell them stories about meeting them when I was in high school, they just tell me to stop because it made them feel old. But you know,
You'd be like, dude, you are old.
it's like, yeah, dude. I mean, it's
I did that to Lynn Bramer when I met him. I'm like, I've been listening to you ever since I was a little kid.
Who?
Lynn Bramer from XRT.
Oh,
He's a radio personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made him feel really old.
I remember listening to you in 1979.
Kind of makes sense though. He's been on the radio for a long time. But anyways, yeah. Don't tell your idols that you've been.
oh no, come on, they appreciate it. I mean, if I ever made a career out of playing music ever again, and some kid came up to me, I think I'd feel old, but I mean, I'd feel pretty good about it.
You
Right.
had that happen to you, didn't? Right? You told me some story about a kid that came up to you and he was like a teenager, and he just I don't know.
Oh, I mean, you know,
I've been listening to you since I was
I'm
in
a
the crib.
teenager. That's what he said.
I was an infant when I first heard your first cut.
I
No,
was
it's always
born.
nice though. It's validation, you know.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I mean, especially if you can bridge like all genres or all age generations. You know, if you're crossing over to kids that are, that young or whatever, that's fine.
Well, you know, I think it's a good song's a good song. You know,
Exactly.
so you can appreciate hip hop if you're like a rock metal guy if the song's good. You know, there's nothing, other than people being closed-minded. I mean,
absolutely agree with that statement. Yeah, because I grew up listening to like my dad's heavy or rock and roll or heavy metal or whatever you called like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd at the time. So I was aware of that kind of music at a young age.
Pre-metal.
Yeah, pre-metal or, just rock, they called it,
Hard rock.
Aerosmith, Van Halen, that kind of stuff I grew up with. But then, like, I started discovering the radio myself and listening to, like, my own stations. At the time, we had Z95, if anybody's old enough to remember what that is.
Oh, yeah.
It was a, like, hip-hop / hard rock station. So they'd play, like, Suicidal Tendencies and then Eminem like I just did. But they weren't around at that time, obviously, so you'd hear whatever was popular, Fresh Prince at the time. Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, that kind of stuff, Cool Mo D, and whatever else. But yeah, like you said, man, if music is good, people like it. Like, people understand the Beatles are good, but not everybody likes them, but they can appreciate their music because they understand, like, hey, this is decent, It's not like Young Pappy.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you could respect. I mean, that's the thing. Anyone now too, especially today, that can do it. I mean, even if Young Pappy. I mean, even if he made it. Look, I don't understand it, but like if he could support himself doing it, and he's reaching people, somebody gets it. There's no reason to take a chunk out of the guy because, I mean, anyone who can do it now, it's admirable. It's so tough to like get anywhere, and everyone's competing, and I mean, everyone's your enemy.
What do you feel about like this sameness of artists? Like, is it producers that are just like telling artists like, listen, you have to sound like this in order to get radio play?
You know what? A lot of it is. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's you see a number one, you hear a number one hit on the radio. To me, that's really an indication of like how much money was put behind it to make it a number one.
Yeah, how much merchandising and marketing.
Exactly. It's a lot of marketing people, and you have marketing people telling you that your song has to be 3 minutes or shorter. You can't have more than 10 words in the hook. Hook's got to come in within 15 seconds. You hear all these crazy things based on market research, and so you have business guys telling musicians how to create the art.
Right.
And then it becomes homogenized.
Yeah. And then people are like, well, it all sounds the same.
Well, I mean, how many corporations control the radio landscape now? Like 5?
Yeah,
it's all business, it's all corporate.
Yeah. So if Clear Channel doesn't like you, or you don't play ball with Clear Channel, you don't get heard in a third of the country. Yeah,
90% of like the radio.
So that's part of it, and it's like
we call that a monopoly, don't we? Though, isn't that what it is?
Well, yeah, us as like civilians call it a monopoly, but those multi-conglomerate business owners call it, just every day, just normal.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Gobble up all the independents,
buy up all the mom and pops around you.
No, the issue that I see too is like it's just kind of like a race to the bottom. Like somebody posted something on Facebook the other day of like the reading level of popular music lyrics, and how it's like at the second grade level
really
of literacy is what is top 40, and and
I that'd be a good study to get involved on. Like that does seem to have some merit to it, because some of the most popular stuff is the most simple stuff.
Well, yeah, and that's what was pushed on me, in the studio, hearing business people talk like.
So you got producers in your ear telling you, listen,
dumb it down.
We understand what you're doing, but it's too complicated for listeners.
Yeah, exactly. Almost like there's no faith in the listener to like want to hear something intelligent. or a little bit more complex. You know,
Well,
it's
look at what they do to movies and like video games and books as well. Like the biggest book out there right now is 50 Shades of Grey. The biggest movies out there are like Marvel comic book movies. You know, the biggest video games are like the same game you played 15 years ago.
Mortal Kombat.
Or Halo or Call of Duty.
Making me feel really crappy right now.
Why is that?
I'm like, really liked playing Mortal Kombat.
Well,
the
original Mortal Kombat was awesome.
So it was actually used real actors. Do you remember that, Tim?
For Mortal Kombat,
it was real actors that they used.
It was like live video action.
It was really cool. Absolutely.
And see, but that's what it was. Is at the time it was groundbreaking, but now it's like, look, I got fatigue from the same nonsense you've been putting out for 15 years already. Like, what are we gonna do to change it up? Who's gonna come in and take a chance at something different? Well, the investors don't want something different. They want, articulated studies of demographics so they understand who they're selling what products to. They want the least common denominator to buy their stuff, so they're going to make it as appealable as they can to the least common denominator.
Exactly. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I think
that's on the art too.
You know what? And the best stuff, like, you got to dig deep and far, or have somebody turn you on to that kind of music that you like, or whatever it is you're interested in. If like, Rihanna or Iggy Azalea aren't for you, but you want to hear like some female hip hop, you know how far you got to look for decent music?
Well, it's part of it. I think the problem is in the States. I mean, I've got friends that play across the U.S. and then they'll play in front of 100 people, 200 people, 400 people, and then they go to Europe and play in front of 3,000 people.
Right, yeah.
Because the culture is different. The culture wants to seek out, like, listeners there are encouraged to seek out the next best thing, that thing that's different, like the thing that kind of sparks your imagination, so to speak. I mean, it's a completely different culture, and if any of our marketing people in music here tried to pull what they pull here in England, it wouldn't work. People would reject it. This is terrible. This is awful. Like,
yeah, some of the better up and coming artists do get popular faster in other countries. I don't know, like you were saying in Europe, like Manowar. You guys heard of Manowar, right?
Oh yeah,
they're huge in Germany, but out here they're just like, yeah, we've heard of them, or we've seen them at a club a couple years ago or something.
No, I mean there's this band I've been into for a couple years from Australia. This band Carnival.
Yes.
And and they'll play in India in front of 10,000 people, Australia, Soundwave Festival. The last time they played around Chicago was at Bobby McGee's on Harlem Avenue and 104th in front of 60 people.
Because nobody knew who they were.
Nobody knew, like, the band is like over most people's heads.
Right.
And the 60 people that were there were the people that dug deep to find it and, connected. But
right.
It's I don't know.
I would have never heard of that band.
You've seen the movie Idiocracy, right?
Of course.
Well, I used to think that movie was funny, and now it's like chilling.
Yeah,
it's like it's happening.
It's more like a documentary now.
Oh, Greg, don't kill me.
I'm baiting. Go away. I'm baiting.
Aspects of that are still, of course, it's always going to be funny, but yeah, I get your drift.
Yeah, but it does seem like, it might be upon us, the idiocracy. We'll just have to see what direction things go, because self-production and things like self-promotion and the internet is doing a lot of groundwork that people weren't able to do before to get their stuff out there. Like Young Pappy, who the hell, 250,000 people obviously knew who this guy was before we stumbled on his music. So as bad or as good as it is, it's going to reach people. And
well, yeah, the barriers to entry are being stripped away. The old model doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
so.
And like stand-up comedians will publish their own like specials, their own 1-hour specials, rather than going to Comedy Central. They'll put it on their website for $5 and make infinitely more money than they would had Comedy Central taken it, charge them to play it however many times.
Parsed it out, taking all their fees.
Right. And then cut it up, chopped it up because you can't say this or that, or you can't talk about this advertiser. TV is such a wretched place to be, man. I am very happy to be on college radio, regardless of, not being paid to do it. I have the freedom to express myself in any fact, shape, or manner and not have to worry about people telling me, well, you can't talk about Domino's Pizza or you can't talk about McDonald's in a negative fashion because they're sponsors of ours.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's overtaking like media in general. It's like too many people have too much say over an artist's work.
And they're not artists.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, they're business practitioners where they study like focus groups and
it's your art's no longer art, it's artistic commodity.
Right. Yeah. It's being passed around as a stock rather than, something people can enjoy and just.
Well, and the thing that I always ran into is that, all these people know the cost of everything but the value of nothing. And they don't understand when, like, I don't want to change this. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? It'll sell more. Yeah, but I can't look at myself in the mirror if I put these lyrics in the song.
Maybe it's something you don't agree with. And they're like, well, you really have to if you really want to reach that next plateau there. And you're like, but that's sinister. That's not.
It's.
If I were religious, that would be against my religion.
Well, no, it's like, I tried telling one of these guys once, it's like, you've been Christian your whole life, and then, tomorrow, you're Buddhist tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Like, no, tomorrow, change your whole perspective on the world.
Yeah.
And
everything you know from when you first discovered whatever artistic talent you had to now has to be altered to fit our criteria.
Well, it's like with the band that I used to be in a couple years ago, like, we got picked up for what we sounded like, and then 2 years into it, we were scolded for sounding the way that we sounded. It was like they bought, a Toyota RAV4, and they were pissed that it wasn't a Mazda Miata later. It's like, what do you expect? Like, I don't want to sound like Nickelback. That's like
nobody does.
Well, yeah, but nobody does. But the business guys, hey, they're selling records. Try to sound more like them. Like, what do you mean? Like, I base my music off of not sounding like them.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that because it's Nickelback.
Look, can we stop poo-pooing on Nickelback? I might actually enjoy one or two of their songs.
So you're saying that they liked the idea of you, but not necessarily what you were doing.
They liked the idea at the time. And then
they're like, oh, these guys are so raw and untapped.
And then they started following market trends, and then they're like, now try doing like this. It's like, what do you mean? Like, there was a band that was on that band Hailstorm, and they had a huge hit, Love Bites.
Yeah.
And the lyrics like Love Bites and So Do I. And they actually came to us one time and said, hey, why don't you do something more like that? I'm like, and our singer Ben, like, you just look at it like, that's never gonna, like, how can you even...
Those are obviously lyrics written by a female, dude.
It's like, it's not going to work, I mean.
Yeah, that's not our persona. That's not our forte. That's not our genre. Like, why are you going to force us to be crap when we're obviously much more than that, I mean, Hailstorm isn't crap by any means, but, like, when you're told to replicate or impersonate another artist, like, where does that leave you? You're like, well, I used to have credential, now I'm just another clone or a copy of something else.
Well, yeah, it's like you whittle away all the reasons why I'm doing this, and then it's like, why am I doing this?
All the originality you once mustered.
What makes it like lively?
What makes you want to do it? I mean, like, playing music now is like almost impossible. It's like a 23.5 hour a day job, like get into a van with a bunch of smelly dudes, shower once every 10 days, like drive 12 hours a day.
Febreze showers, I remember.
Febreze showers, baby wipes, I mean,
Irish showers.
To be honest, this is the best smelling I've ever been in a radio studio.
Oh, you showered before you came.
I showered before I came. I actually, because all the other ones I hadn't showered in none of us showered in like, days.
So you'd be in like Cleveland or something.
we'd be in Cleveland or Mississippi or somewhere, and we'd be wiping the sweat lines, like the salt lines, off of our clothes before we walked in.
Ooh, that's sexy.
Everybody drink mouthwash, like, gargle some mouthwash
Yeah.
before you go in, and
Let's look presentable.
ooh, I could only imagine, like, they could smell us 10 feet away.
Yeah, but when you talk about Nickelback, those guys, they fly in charter planes.
Fly in, sunglasses,
Don't think
Yeah.
it really.
designer jeans.
Didn't the singer get really, really drunk?
No,
he had some drug
that's
problem or
that's puddle of mud.
Is that?
Oh, dude.
Oh. I'm confusing
That
these
that
guys.
guy's a doped out melt. That guy
Is that the one? Those guys are the one that do "She Effing Hates Me."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He forgot the lyrics to that song when we opened up for him.
What?
Yeah,
How do you forget your own music?
in front of 2,500 people.
Get out of here. So
No.
how did it go? Like, what happened?
He stormed off the stage and then
Like, did he stomp off with his
Stomped
fist
off.
clenched? Like,
threw his guitar
Wow.
at his tech, screamed at his band,
because he screwed up.
and then they pushed him back on, and he remembered it. It was
They gave him a sheet of paper and like, here, dude, these are the words.
well,
He
you
wrote
know.
it on his hand real
Yeah.
quick.
Well, they started using a teleprompter for Ozzy because he couldn't, that guy couldn't remember anything.
Well, think about
Wow.
his catalog, though. How many songs has Ozzy wrote, or sang? He's
True.
got at least 200 songs.
How many drugs has Ozzy taken?
That too, and how recently? Now he's on like prescription pills, I assume, for all his liver and kidney failure issues.
All of his insanity.
Yeah, all those years of, like, there's a story where one of the guys from Motley Crue talks about how Ozzy was snorting ants. I think it was the drummer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, like they
He
were in a
just ran out of
hotel.
drugs.
They were in a hotel, and Ozzy was up at like 5 a.m, still high, still drunk, and he was snorting ants. And then when he got back up into his room, he was smearing crap all over the walls.
The only other time I've heard of that happening was when I worked in a grocery store. Some lady did that.
Smeared poop on the wall.
She smeared poop all over the walls in the bathroom.
Why would you do
And
that?
she was an elderly lady, and I think she was senile. So
Did
that's
she
just my comparative story.
think she was painting a portrait for the Lord?
She felt like she just needed to make art right then and there.
Like,
Raw.
this is it.
Hey, if you ever make it to that age, no consequences,
Yeah, what are they gonna do? Throw you in jail?
no regrets.
Yeah.
That's at that point. That's when the world actually does owe you something.
Yeah. I was just thinking earlier about how poorly older people are treated in our society. They're just kind of like shoved away into homes and communities by themselves, never to be visited again by family.
It's like, let's just not remember that they're
Yeah,
here.
they weren't your age once, or haven't been around and experienced like a multitude of things more than you. There's lots of knowledge and experience to be gained from talking, just simply talking to somebody. I had a great grandmother who was 97 years old.
Wow.
And that woman, she worked for like the county clerk. She was like all kinds of weird political jobs that she had, because back then you didn't, your driver's license was a piece of paper with your name on it. It wasn't a pictured ID with holograms on it. It was just a much simpler time back then.
And all the old timey racism too.
Yeah,
All that fun
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she used to get mad when I bring all my friends over because we were all multicultural, Like I'd have black friends, Puerto Rican friends, And she'd be like,
The second something goes missing,
yeah.
which
Oh,
Was
boy.
your Puerto Rican friend in my bedroom? Like, no, Grams, we didn't even come anywhere near your place.
I hope one day like that you were woken up but to her being like, "Hey, Tim."
There was one time we were sitting in my backyard. It was like a Saturday at about midnight, and we were smoking some pot, And she sticks her head out the second floor window. She obviously knew we were up to no good, and she's like, "Hey, you guys down there better not be cigarette smoking dope." I was laughing so hard. I'm like, "We're too high for this, Grams. Come back later."
You're like, come down and join us. Grams is good for the arthritis.
Yeah, good for the cataracts.
My dad used to drive a 78 Cataract.
Did he really? Was it a Broham
A Broham. Hey, Broham, jump in the Broham.
or a Brom? What were they
Brom.
calling it in the Great White Hype?
Broham.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was a great movie.
That was funny. What he says, like, my dad used to always say, laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry, I'll give you something to cry about, you little bastard.
Yeah, classic. So, is there anywhere we could check out some of your music, Rick? Like, do you got old stuff posted online somewhere, or newer, maybe, experimental stuff?
The new stuff isn't posted yet. The old band was called 7 Day Sonnet.
Oh, that was yours we played earlier?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We there's stuff all over YouTube. Touch Tunes Jukebox. I think we've got a couple songs on that.
I found Reverb Nation.
I think we're in Rock Band. We're in a video game.
What?
Yeah.
How the hell are you in Rock Band?
Dude, don't ask me. I don't know. I mean, it was a blurry couple of years for many reasons.
That's
So
right.
residuals are nice.
Oh man, you know what? I got my last ASCAP check for like $6.97. It was
Yeah.
Don't spend it
High
all
roller.
in one place.
yeah, it was great.
You
Yeah,
took me to the Sizzler.
What do you get, like a percent of like a percent?
a very small percent. I don't even. If I open up my statement, I can actually see domestic, international. It's very, very small.
So what song is it? The one the one we played? Is that the one that's in Rock Band?
I think the song that's in Rock Band is called "Hapless."
Oh, it's your
It's
one of
been
your
a few.
singles.
It's been a few years. Yeah, we had a couple songs that went like top 40 active rock format
Nice.
in 2000. What was it 2011? It's been a couple
I think
years,
so.
but it was a fun time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was the tale of two cities.
I will say touring was the coolest experience I've had, but it was the best and worst time of my life all at once.
So you toured with Seven Dust.
We did stuff with Seven Dust, bands like Nonpoint,
Non-point, okay.
Sick Puppies. They were big a couple years ago. They kind of dropped off.
Yeah.
We did a bunch of fests. Got to play with like Mark Tremonti and all those guys with Alter Bridge. It's Creed without Scott Stapp.
Right, yeah.
But no, it was
Better
it
off,
was
essentially.
We had some fun discussing Scott Stapp here weeks ago.
oh my God,
With
Scott
his breakdown.
What was ISIS is coming to get him, right?
yeah. And he was on a bike riding like 6,000 miles to go deliver it to the White House.
Well, he's from Tallahassee, so it's probably pretty normal behavior.
Yeah, just throw like
Which is the standard.
he had documents about the New World Order.
The NWO? What?
Yikes.
Yeah.
So what's worse, Creed or Nickelback?
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
They're on their own.
Call the
platforms.
show. What's worse,
Very
Creed or
low
Nickelback?
platforms.
847-866-9687. I would have to say Creed because I think they were more religious, like in tone.
That pseudo-religious.
Yeah, like they were trying to be kind of Christian rock, but not quite.
I mean, they got really popular though.
Dude, there were people in school that were like tattooing Creed all over and like I don't know.
That's
man.
a total regret tattoo.
yeah.
No, you know what's crazy about Creed is, the pseudo God complex religious stuff was really off-putting. I didn't like the band, but all the guys in the band, minus Scott Stapp, are like phenomenal musicians.
Right.
I just saw Mark Tremonti at Thalia Hall in Pilsen last week. Incredible. Just like
And you can imagine that it was some big shot record producer that stuck them all together.
let's go with the God thing. That'll sell. That'll sell.
yeah.
Yeah, we're called Creed, so
Listen, you need to sing about the light and happy things.
How cool Jesus is and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
My
With arms wide open. That's right.
My pal Jesus.
my
Yeah.
that was gonna be their next album.
My Pal Jesus. I think that's Scott Stapp's new band.
My Pale Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good
Yikes.
one. I hope at some point they do make that, and it's like in kid writing with crayon and stuff.
No, it's literally some guy named Jesus. That's what it is.
It's gonna be like a mixtape that like what's his face makes.
Be like my pal Jesus. Jesus. ¿Qué pasó?
¿Qué pasó, amigo?
Do you want another heat, amigo?
Another
You know, I'm gonna look that up real quick. I'm gonna Google My Pale Jesus and see what pops up.
My Pal Jesus. I bet it's a book. I'm gonna bet.
Oh, it's gotta be. Let's see.
But it's coming to that time of the show, guys, that we need to wrap it up. I'm going to go around the room one more time and get some plugs. Rick, you said you are working tentatively on a project here. It won't be out till about when, do you say?
I think end of summer, early fall.
And you don't want to disclose any name information or anything like that?
Keeping it under wraps, but I can always come back.
Right on, right on. You're welcome anytime, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks
It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's been almost forever.
Forever.
And it brings me to the Zohan.
Oh, no.
Zohan, thanks for returning to the show.
Oh, of course. I love it.
You're also welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you, Tim.
Anything you got going on that you'd like to discuss?
Other
than going to the bar after the show?
I was in a bar yesterday, and I actually wrestled my best friend, and my elbows are very bruised.
All
I
right.
Did you
figured I'd
win?
share that. Yes.
Nice. Then that's all that matters.
Were there sexy results?
No, you keep asking me.
Sexy results. I like that.
They were miserable results.
No, my elbow hurts.
Now,
That's all I got to report, Tim.
You
Sorry.
dropping the macho man. Oh,
so
yeah.
Zoe's got tennis elbow. Jay Sal,
Yes,
the
sir.
mixologist. What about you, buddy? What do you got going on?
I am loving this. I cannot wait to come back and contribute more regularly and discuss everything that's going on in society and art and sports and whatnot. And I definitely appreciate this opportunity. Sir.
We will certainly make fun of culture in future
Oh,
episodes.
I can't wait.
So for Rick, the Zohan, Jay Sal, myself, Tim Radicek, this has been the Laugh or Else Radio Show. Please check us out on the Facebook at Laugh or Else Radio Show. You can also get at us on the Twitter by using hashtag LOERadio, which also works on the YouTube to find previous clips from other shows. Stay tuned to WNUR, because coming up after us is Where in Time are Ryan and Evan, who've got an awesome format for a show where they play music from a random year and celebrate music in all its glory. That's it.
Woke up screaming again for the 100th time. These details I can't escape. Be with me tonight, and I couldn't turn it down. Like a moth to a flame, drawing her more closer than I can take. Crying like you care. Closer than I can take, crying my name, crying it like you know.